All right. Just getting ready for the Canuck and Yankee show coming up at 4 p.m. Eastern. And I'm also trying to get this, it's a B key NVMe SSD, I guess. This is my new project. This is the basically the component you use to get the drive in there. That's the drive. See, that's a B key. It's got two ridges. On the connector. Try to get this in here. So I'm trying to do is get this mounted in here and then put it in the enclosure and see if I can get it running through USB, because I need to format the drive with Hive OS. But there's been an explosion of these kind of things on the market for NVMEs. I'm thinking about down the road maybe getting a 3D printer and building enclosures for these. Of course, I'd have to buy the components, internal components somehow. Maybe you can find some good outlet in China. All right, I think this is in. Now, there are some screws. Supposed to put thermal pads on these things, but if you put thermal pads on, then that drive has to stay in there. Yeah, these little thermal pads that you can put on in the enclosure. This is a see-through enclosure. There's another half that goes over the top. But I don't want to use up the pads, because all I got to do is get the Hive OS image burned on there, and then I'm going to pull the drive out, put it in my rig. Oh my. I remember the hard drive screw is over there. Keep that over there. These screws are really small. I constantly drop them and lose them, and then I've got to like search on the floor for them. Or I'll drop them inside the motherboard, especially if it's a PC case. I'll get buried in there. It takes me like 10 minutes to find it. So this one, alright, so this one has USB-C. This is a little bit of a mess here on my desk. There's a little, real hard to see, but there's a little mount screw you've got to get around the card. The heavy base goes on the bottom, I believe. I think I go from behind here. Let's see if this works. Although that looks wrong. Let me see. The skinny part of component is right here. It's got, it's hard to see, but that is there's a little screw bolt you got to put on the end. And I believe you have to come from behind, underneath, and get it screwed in and mounted. And this is the tricky part. Wow. I have the screw on there. These screws are not that big. Or at least it's the screwdriver is magnetic. So it helps a little bit in keeping it connected. Whoa. All right, I think I have it. Hope this drive is still mounted. All right, that'll work. Look at that. The screw on the bottom, right there. So that's how I mounted it with the nut bolt between the card and the mount component. I'm hoping this drive is still connected. Connects right there. That's the drive on the top. USB-C right there. All right, let me see if I can get this in the case. What goes what? I think like this. Find out. That looks right. This and then this on top, maybe? This slides back in. It's kind of weird. Doesn't want to. This is. Let's see. I get this from up top. That is working, I guess. That's it. That's the full enclosure. Is a USB-C connector. I got the drive in there. I've got Windows 10 on here, and I'm running Mac OS on my main workstation here, so I don't think it'll recognize it. Although it might. I also got another drive. This one here. This one does the M keys on the NVMe drives. So you got to be careful when you get these drives. You get the right key. Otherwise, you won't be able to mount it. What do I got here? USB-C to USB-C. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to try USB-C on the enclosure and then standard USB-A. All right. Well, we're going to see what happens. We're going to connect this guy to the USB port. My system might blow up, so we'll find out what happens. All right, it's in. Blue light's on, but it's not flashing, which is, I would think it would flash if it was reading data. It doesn't look like it's going to mount. I might have to mount this on my Windows 10 workstation. It does not appear to be mounting. I just check disk utility app. What is this? All right. Big Sur, Blackintosh. It's my SSDs. Yeah, it's not showing up. Untitled my passport. Let me try one more time. Not happening. All right, I'm going to try it on my workstation. Maybe I can try to format it. Otherwise, I'm going to have to do this on... Might have to burn the Hive image on Windows 10. All right, I am going to go back to the intro music, but we have the Canuck Yankee show coming up at 4 p.m. Eastern. We're going over a lot of stuff. We've got overview of the indigenous populations in both Canada and the U.S. We're going to go over some history with that. We're going to be going over the United Nations Declaration of the Rights of Indigenous Peoples, how Canada honors that and how the U.S. honors that. And I'm also, on the U.S. side, going to be covering the American Indian movement. There was also a recent $590 million settlement over opioids devastation in the Native American or indigenous population here in the United States. So that was rewarded. I believe Johnson & Johnson was the main company behind that, paying the fines. Johnson & Johnson is now no longer allowed to sell opioids on the market. They've been banned from doing that. And then also, we're going over ESG. This is the environmental, social, and corporate governance body in the world today, and it is one of the most important things I think people need to hear about. The ESG is basically behind corporate governance of environmental issues, and you've got people like elitists like Klaus Schwab. We're gonna have a video from him, but it's basically a way to it goes in with all the climate hysteria and how companies have to basically be environmentally conscious and things along those lines. But what ends up happening is that only large corporations can afford to adhere to these regulations, which are only going to get even more intense as we move forward. And small companies and individuals are left behind with a lot of this stuff. They don't have the money, they don't have the lawyers, the resources to keep up with ESG. And it's going to play a major, it's going to have a major economic impact on small businesses for many years to come. And we'll be covering it a lot. It'll be coming up a lot as governments around the world concentrate a lot more on climate change. Also, if COVID begins to wane, you can definitely guarantee that they'll be focusing more on climate related issues. And ESG works directly with governments around the world, U.S. and what have you. And we're going to have some updates on the Coutts Sweetwater border blockade and the Ottawa convoy. I've been checking out some stuff on TikTok, although I only use TikTok on a separate browser on Opera GX. definitely recommend Opera GX if you're, doing stuff like TikTok, which has security issues. Opera GX seems to be more secure against hacks and things of that type of nefarious actions. So I might load that up. I might load that up on a separate layer on OBS. Get the Opera GX viewer in there and maybe check out some TikTok videos, because there's a lot of people posting on TikTok. Never makes the mainstream. Got a lot of people on the ground in Ottawa, in Coots, and some of the other border crossings that were blockaded. So a lot of good on-the-ground content on TikTok. We're going to go over the Lunar New Year, Year of the Water Tiger. And then I've got some crypto updates. Tron's Justin Sun, who is also has played a part in D-Live, and D-Live's coming together with BitTorrent. But he also runs Tron, the Tron crypto DeFi platform, and has been accused of a governance attack on DeFi lender Compound. So we're going to go over that. We're going to go over India's tough crypto stance. India is looking into a central bank digital currency. They're also stating they will be taxing crypto. So we'll see legislatively where they come out with in the coming weeks and months. And of course, we got some bizarro news. Some Bitcoin mouse DNA related bizarro news and a few other things. All right, I'm going to let the video roll for a little bit longer. And we're going to officially kick off the show, I guess, around 3:45, around 3:45 p.m. Eastern. Canuck and Yankee show.